Across the country, countless lives have been upended not by violent predators, but by systems built to protect, but instead built to punish. This is a story of one such person, a person caught in the gears of injustice. Today, we bring you the troubling case of a young man who spent nearly 5 decades behind bars for a crime he did not commit, an emblem of how power, prejudice, and poverty collide. Stay with us as we peel back the layers of betrayal, corruption, and redemption. 1 to 3:30, introducing the case. Provide a quick overview of the individual. Call him Michael Davis for illustration. You may substitute a real name if sourcing properly. Born into poverty in the American South, raised in a community where hope was scarce and the law loomed large. Describe the crime for which he was convicted: a murder in 1975, Oklahoma City area. He was 21 years old. Despite having an alibi, he was pulled into a lineup, identified, tried, and sentenced. This parallels the real story of Glenn Simmons, who spent 48 years in prison before exoneration. The Guardian set the context. The era was rife with racial tension, police under pressure, media demanding quick results. Michael's case would become a lightning rod for revealing systemic injustice. 3:30 to 7 o'clock, life before the arrest and the arrest. Paint the picture of Michael's early life. Minimal education, working jobs to support family, little chance of social mobility. Then the night of the crime, 2 bodies found in a rural area near Oklahoma City. Police under immense pressure to solve the case. Michael and several others were rounded up because they had attended the party that evening. He had a job, a partner, a child. He wasn't a suspect until the investigation focus shifted. The arrest. Michael arrested, interrogated, witness pressure to testify. The prosecution's case leaned heavily on eyewitness identification, a notoriously unreliable method. Discussed the factors: his poverty, race, minimal access to high-quality legal defense, all stacked against him. 7 to 10:30, trial, conviction, and prison sentence. Describe the trial proceedings. Juries, prosecutors, judges. Michael receives a death penalty sentence, later commuted to life, despite multiple witnesses affirming his alibi. Showcase how the system worked. Prosecutor's narrative, limited defense resources, racialized public sentence. Explore the emotional toll. Michael leaves his young child, partner, community behind. The prison gates close. Insert voiceover lines like, "Imagine being 21 years old, your world collapsing, and the only promise you hear is a coffin, not a comeback." 10:30 to 1400 hours. Life inside prison and psychological impact. Cover years of imprisonment. How Michael copes, adapts, or breaks. Weave in details of his transformation. He educates himself, mentors others, becomes a voice inside. Use narration. While the outside world moved on, Michael's world shrank to cell walls, meal trays, and the ticking of an unseen clock. Provide personal reflections, fictionalized for script. If real quotes not available, I spent a long time thinking, am I alive or am I locked away in someone else's nightmare? Discuss the mental health effects, institutional neglect, isolation. 14 to 17:30, new evidence and path to justice. Transition to turning point. Decades later, advances in forensic science, renewed legal appeals, committed lawyers and donor groups step in. Reveal key pieces. Ballistics evidence undermines original case. Original confessions recanted. Witness credibility falls apart. This mirrors real-life exonerations. The Guardian introduced the role of systematic injustice. How poverty, race, and access to legal representation influenced outcomes. Narration line. What wasn't wrong was simply overlooked. What was spent was not time, but a life. 17:30 to 20:30, exoneration and release. Detail the final steps. A court declares Michael legally innocent after 48 years of incarceration. He steps outside prison gates into a world that moved on without him. Capture emotional weight. His family grown or gone. Missed birthdays, weddings, children grown up. The triumph is bittersweet. Dialogue snippet. I walked out not as a free man, but as a man just freed. And what felt heavier was all the years I lost. Mention impact. Media coverage. Calls for reform. Advocates using his case as evidence of broken system. 2030 to 2400 hours. Broader systemic analysis. Zoom out. Michael's story is not an isolated incident. It is symptomatic of broader social injustice, racial bias in policing, prosecutorial misconduct, poverty-driven vulnerability. Include data/analysis, e.g., research shows poor people and minorities are significantly more likely to be wrongly convicted. AR-14+1. Discuss consequences. Trust in the justice system, community trauma, intergenerational harm. Narration. In the quest for justice, the system sometimes forgets the very word justice. 2400 hours, 27:00, current impact and what's next. Highlight changes. Has reform been enacted? Are there calls for policy change? Use Michael's case to advocate. Mention current status. He's now working with advocacy groups. Speaking publicly. Helping others wrongly convicted. Ask critical questions. What about those still inside? What about cases never uncovered? What about the children born while the parent was inside? Narrative prompt for engagement. If this happened to one of us or someone we loved, what would we do? And what must we change so it doesn't happen again? 27:00, 29:30, final thoughts and reflection. Return to Michael's face metaphorically, and present where he is now, forging a new life, remembering the old, building hope. Emotional lines. Michael's voice now is softer, but no less loud, because he carries a story of injustice. And that story carries all our hopes for better. Encourage viewer reflection. The system failed him, but his resilience reminds us we must not fail the system. Offer a call to action. Encourage viewers to research similar cases. Support innocence work organizations. Engage with policy reform. 29:30, 30:00, outro/call to action. Thank you for watching this full story of injustice, pain, hope, and redemption. If this video moved you, please subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Comment below, what do you believe must change in our justice system? And share this video, because their story becomes our story when we listen. Until next time, stay curious, stay courageous, and never stop seeking truth.